Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I apologize for uploading after such a long time. Well, now let's start with today's topic. As you must have already know from the title, that today's topic is about joints. Now, what are joints? The site where two skeletal elements come together are termed joints. The site where two skeletal elements come together are termed joints. Now, there are two general categories of joints. Okay, there are two general categories. Joint first, synovial joint. Synovial joints, and second is solid joint. Okay, now in synovial joint, the skeletal elements are separated by a cavity. Okay, the bones, the skeletal elements are separated by a cavity, and in solid joints there is no cavity present. Okay, there are no cavity, and the components are held together by connective tissue. Okay, the components are held together by connecting tissue. Now let's see the types of synovial joints. Okay, types of synovial joints. First, plane joint. Plane joint. Now, plane joints only allow a gliding movement, like the two bones glide over each other. Okay, it is allowed by a plane joint, and the example of plane joint is acromioclavicular joint. The joint between acromion and clavicle, acromioclavicular joint. Okay, the second is a hinge joint. Now, in hinge joint, the motion is only in one plane. The motion is allowed only in one plane, and the example of hinge joint is humero-ulnar joint, the joint between humerus and ulnar. Okay, third one is pivot joint. In pivot joint, it allows only for rotation, that is supination, pronation and supination. An example of pivot joint is atlantoaxial joint. Now, fourth one is bicondylar joint. Bicondylar joint allow movement mostly in one axis with limited rotation around the second axis. Okay, mostly in one axis with limited rotation around the second axis. An example of bicondylar joint is knee joint. Fifth one is condylar joint. Condylar joint allows movement in two planes. Okay, in two planes it allows movement, and movements like flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, and circumduction, and the example is wrist joint. Now, sixth one is saddle joint. Saddle joint allow extension, abduction, adduction, and circumduction, but does not allow axial rotation. Okay, an example of a saddle joint is carpometacarpal joint of the thumb, only of the thumb, the carpal and metacarpal joint of the thumb. And the seventh and the last one is ball and socket joint. The ball and socket joint. Now, ball and socket joint, one bone fits around into a cup-like depression of another bone. Okay, and the example is hip joint. Now, the types of solid bones. In types of solid bones, there are two main types, that are fibrous and cartilaginous. Okay, there are two main types, fibrous and cartilaginous. Fibrous and cartilaginous. The example of fibrous are first, sutures. First is sutures. Okay, now sutures occur only in skull where adjacent bones are linked together, okay, by connective tissue. Now, second is gomphosis. Gomphosis occurs between the teeth and adjacent bone. It is between the teeth and the bone. Okay, and the third one is syndesmosis. Syndesmosis are joints in which two adjacent bones are linked by a ligament, like the interosseous membrane between radius and ulna. And in cartilaginous joints, the first one is synchondrosis. Okay, in synchondrosis occurs when two ossification centers in a developing bone separated by a layer of cartilage. Okay, and the second one is symphysis. In symphysis, two separate bones are interconnected by a cartilage. As you can see the example. Well, that's the end of today's video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe and like, and see you later.